Welcome aboard the Disney Treasure. And what a ship! My family and I spent 3 days on board Disney's new cruise ship, trying the drinks and the food and the experiences from the new Moana stage musical to the Haunted Mansion Parlor, Plaza de Coco, and a lot more. After all that, the Treasure might be my new favorite cruise ship. Here we go! My God. We were so excited for this trip, and we'd been counting down the days for a long time, and Disney welcomed us very warmly. Hello! And I really love seeing one of the original ship designs before we saw the brand new ship. It really puts everything in perspective. Oh my God. Here we are. We are about to get on the Treasure. I don't think we're ready. Honestly, we've been so excited with this for so long. Look at it. Beautiful. Gleaming. So beautiful and bright. Unbelievable. Sorry, she's shimmering, shining, and splendid. Let's see how many times I say, oh my God. Oh my God.
Disney Treasure, please welcome aboard the Powell family.
Thank you. Oh my God. The Treasure's Grand Hall is really special, and it's the centerpiece of the ship. It's going to be where you're welcomed when you arrive, and they have lots of special events throughout the whole cruise. And the chandelier puts on a whole show at different times of the day. There are a lot of themes on the ship, but the focus here is definitely on Jasmine and Aladdin and the magic lamp. We arrived on board at lunch, and there were a few options, but we decided to head right to Plaza de Coco to get our first peek at the new restaurant and the incredible Coco themed space. As a big fan of the film, it was really special, including the hallway into the space, the ofrenda, and wait until you see the dinner show later on in the trip. The menu was just a general menu for lunch, but the drinks menu is Mexican themed, and we had a nice first taste. We also love the plates and all the Coco theming around the room. We tried the beef empanadas, the panette pasta, sliced roast beef sirloin, and for dessert we had all three options: the cookies and cream cheesecake, the carrot cake, and the welcome aboard sundae, and they were all very good. But I have to say, the empanadas, the pasta, and the carrot cake really stood out. They were excellent. And then it was time to check out our room. We are so excited to be here. We just got into our room, and it's so lovely. Like, I love it. The Luca theming, I didn't know what the room was going to be, but I love the Luca theming. It's very cool. They've even got pictures on the wall. So many cool details. And then there's scooter art here. It's so cool. This whole room, it's so bright. It's lovely. Then we have this great balcony. Very cool. I have to say, I am such a huge fan of the Disney Dream. It's the ship we traveled on so many times, but the Treasure is a step up in so many ways, including the bright rooms and the new art. So cute. I cannot wait to try that on. And then it was time for the Let's Set Sail party.
Hello, Disney Treasure! Entertainment team. Are you all excited for a new, fun, and magical adventure?
Travelers! Adventurers, friends! My name is Coriander.
And I am Sage.
We are the storytellers.
We are the treasure seekers.
From far and wide you travel, but your journey is just beginning.
Indeed, you gathered here for adventure. You gathered here for magic.
You gathered here to see wonders.
Or maybe it's a priceless artifact hidden in an ancient temple.
Or could it be a treasure even greater?
We'll seek our treasure together, my friends. But for now, it's time to explore.
It's time to set a course.
The time
to live your adventure.
Port right now. I spent a lot of my time on board the Treasure walking and exploring because this is a brand new ship. I wanted to see everything, or as much as I could at least. One of my first stops was Sarabi. It's an event and performance space that's basically theater in the round. There's 2 levels to it, and it's really spacious, comfortable, modern. You find events here throughout the entire trip, including the Indiana Jones Comedy Adventure Show, and there's a bar at the back. It's really great and central. You'll probably end up here at least a couple times. During our time on board, we had a few previews and special looks at things, and one of those was a peek at the clothing and the products that you can buy when you're on board. And we ended up buying a few things ourselves and getting a chance to take a couple things home that they gave us. But I have to say there are so many cool products on the Treasure, including things from the Haunted Mansion Parlor, Periscope Pub, and other special things on board. It's really cool what they put together that you can buy and take home as a souvenir of your trip. For supper on our first night, we were at Worlds of Marvel, and the new experience featuring Marvel trivia with Rocket and Groot. I gotta say, the restaurant is amazing. All the spaces here actually feel pretty intimate. You don't feel like you're in one huge large room. It feels like you're in a special dining hall. And I love all the little details. It is unbelievable, the details that are in this space, including across your table, from the plates to the table lights and the menu, and so much more. How cool is this? Oh my God. There are so many details to get lost in here, including the circuits on the tablecloths and the designs on the napkins, and just checking out the light, which does have a purpose later on, you'll see. And then talking about the menu, we really love the drink menu. There's the most dangerous drink in the galaxy and the Flora Colossus cooler that we ordered. And the food menu was excellent, very good. Music throughout the evening in the room is wonderfully Guardians of the Galaxy inspired. And then you'll play trivia and you'll use the lights on your table to put in your answers. And so you'll see if you're right or wrong based on the color that the lamp changes. It's very cool, fun use of these lights and a chance to see how good you are at Marvel trivia. Between the meal and the trivia, there's also a fun show.
Welcome to our celebration of heroes. As you dine, we will drop in on your favorite heroes, both around the world and across the galaxy, who are hard at work.
Well, what's all this about?
Hello, Rocket. We're in the middle of a celebration dinner here in our ship.
Ah! You call that a ship? And what are you celebrating?
We are celebrating the heroes who keep us all safe.
Well,
He prefers to be called Star-Lord.
I prefer to call him something that gets in front of Brute.
As a big fan of Guardians of the Galaxy and Rocket and Groot, this was a lot of fun. But the meal was really, really good. So the Malaysian chicken sauté and the ahi tuna poke were both excellent. And my wife loved her white cheddar broccolini soup, and I really enjoyed the lobster bisque. For mains, I regret not trying the linguine nero, but the Dijon herb-crusted rack of lamb was excellent, and my wife loved the beef Wellington.
Brute, you did all this for me. Now everyone knows I'm a hero? What are you terrorists looking at, huh?
For dessert, we tried a bunch of things, including the Marvel Sundae, which was pretty great, especially if you're an ice cream lover. I tried the double blueberry cheesecake, which was quite good, and my wife tried the chocolate decadence, which was also great. Then we walked back through the ship to the stores, which were now open, and picked up a few things that we just had to take home. They have a really great range of new items just for this ship, and I ended up getting a sweater, and I had to get a Haunted Mansion Parlor t-shirt. As souvenirs go, you can really spend as much or as little as you want. There are some great hoodies, there are pins, there are water bottles and purses and bags, t-shirts, dress shirts. I definitely could have spent a lot more money than I did, but whatever you take home, they're all so unique and so special to this ship. One special thing for entertainment at night is if you head to the Walt Disney Theater, they have Broadway-style musicals, and the new one is The Tale of Moana. It is phenomenal, and I'm going to get to that shortly, a bit later in this video, but you can also check out Seize the Adventure and Beauty and the Beast. I also have to say the theater space is just tremendous. It feels like you're definitely in a Broadway theater in New York or somewhere. It's wonderful. There is so much to do on board, and you can really take it slow too. I usually always see a movie on the ships, but I didn't have a chance to do anything this time. But the Treasure does have 2 theaters, including the Neverland Cinema. For the whiskey and bourbon lovers, you should also stop by Hook's Barbery. It's a barber shop that does have shaves and haircuts, and they also serve up drinks, including high-end old fashions made with your choice of spirit. And if you purchase one of the really high-end whiskeys and bourbons, you'll even get a medallion. And then it was time for one of the really big highlights on the ship, especially for me. The Haunted Mansion Parlor is a huge treat for fans of the Disney ride. You enter through that moody, coffin-shaped room filled with tributes to the ride, and then you step into one big experience. Everything is a callback to the attraction, and the experience changes as you sit there, with scenes that grow brighter and darker, different music plays, and of course, the cocktails are all in tune with the mood. On top of the regular menu, there's also a hidden menu item that you can find with a little problem solving. We tried Restless Spirits, and it was a very fun drink for 2, but there are so many options on this menu, and I have to say one of the things that I had to try was the Mariner cocktail. you can buy these special cocktails that come with these tiki mugs, including the Final Vow cocktail. But there are quite a few options, including some alcohol-free drinks as well. Expect to spend about 30 minutes so that you can get a good taste of the full experience, but come back twice so that you can experience everything, because the whole show, you probably won't see everything unless you're there for about 90 minutes from what I understand. So there may be restrictions on how long you can stay in one sitting depending on how busy it is. So I'd say come for at least 30 minutes and then plan to come back again during your trip, because it is such a fun space. This is just a peek at some of the things that you can find throughout the room, some of the things that come to life as you're sitting there. You really have to keep an eye out, because depending on where you're sitting, you'll get a completely different experience than if you're sitting on the complete other side of the room, which is something that I love.
They have selected you to fill our quota, and they'll want you.
Oh my god. Coolest bar. This was a great experience. And then you walk out and there's a rock band. I have a lot to say about Skipper Society, which is the bar right outside the Haunted Mansion Parlor, but we'll get back to that shortly. First off, I gotta talk about Scat Cat Lounge. This is a really amazing space, jazzy and cool, and they've got a whole range of cocktails, beautifully lit, cool space, very, very fun. One of those spaces that you're gonna wanna hang out and have at least a couple cocktails during your trip. You can get the Turkish tea experience, which is this cool cocktail that actually comes in a tea set and you pour it out. It's made for 2 people. And otherwise you can also get the cat drink, which comes with these awesome souvenir glasses that you'll actually take home. We really love the space. It's so small and quaint and cozy. The Disney Treasure is definitely a big ship, but it's not that hard to get around. We actually found that it was pretty easy to wander through and find things, and throughout the ship you'll find the elevators have numbers on them so you know what is on what floor. There are maps by the elevator banks so you can wander through and find things. And I would say if you have the time, especially early on in your trip, take the time to go wander through and see what you find, because there are some surprises everywhere. Even the stairwells have these amazing art pieces. You'll find so much to check out. You have to remember too to download the Disney Cruise Line app before you get on board the ship. It really is your resource for finding everything on the ship, including special events like dance parties in the Grand Hall and everything else that runs from about 8 a.m. to midnight every day. For coffee lovers, I have to say there are a few cafes on board, including the Jade Cricket Cafe and other favorite that I'll get to in the next day of this cruise. When we got back to our room, we found a friend waiting for us with some chocolate, and then we had to step outside and just enjoy the sound of the ocean and the lights from the ship and the waves. I have to say, since room service is open 24 hours a day until the last night, you can always order something to your room for a snack, just to hang out in your balcony if you've got one and enjoy. The next morning, we woke up and found ourselves at Castaway Cay. This is Disney's private island in the Bahamas, and it's a great spot for some beach time. Most Disney cruises in the Caribbean either stop at Castaway Cay or their new stop, Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point, for a little beach adventuring. There's food and excursions that you can book, there's beach space cabanas, and a lot more. So the only stop we have on our trip with the Disney Treasure is Castaway Cay, and it's a beautiful day here. It's perfect. Definitely doesn't feel like December, or at least what this Canadian thinks of as December. But anyway, it's a beautiful day. It's just hard coming here knowing that the Disney Treasure is right over there, because obviously we're here to see the ship and explore it. But it was nice to come here. I came for a couple hours just to hang out and see the see the beach again, and I'm coming back in a few weeks anyway, so it'd be nice to get back then and actually relax here. But right now I'm just kind of checking it all out, taking in the little sun. I'm going back to the ship so I can have lunch in one of the new spots that I haven't checked out. So, but yeah, this is always beautiful. It's extra quiet because we're on a cruise that isn't full, so the media cruising isn't a full ship. So it's shockingly empty right now, which is not something you'll necessarily see when you come here, except if you come early or stay a little late. I will say this. One of my favorite things about Castaway Cay is that if you come here, first thing you get off the ship and come find a good spot, there's some great little beach areas you can come to that are actually fairly quiet for the first couple hours usually. And then at the end of the day, a lot of people head back early. As long as you get back a few minutes before your port time, you can stay here a little longer, and sometimes that's kind of nice too. So this is definitely a highlight anytime we're here because it's such a natural little paradise. It feels so different from a lot of the Caribbean where things are overdeveloped. This is definitely a protected island more than anything. There's a lot of greenery, a lot of places where Disney has worked to make sure the local animals and creatures have a habitat. So that's very nice. Too, that there are also quite a few fun activities here. So you can go snorkeling. There's actually jet skis and banana boats and all sorts of stuff you can plan. Those are extra costs, but a lot of them are priced really well. So I would say it's a great spot to have a little fun. There are also cabanas, and there's an adult beach area that you can go to on the other side of the island. You can get there by a little tram. After a bit of sun and relaxing and having a drink, I headed back on board so that I could explore more of the ship. But of course, I had to get a few photos of the ship before I got back on board. And then I caught the Christmas tree that was at the port, which was a really nice Christmas surprise. On board, I went first to Marceline Market, which is where you're going to find breakfast and lunch every day. You can also, of course, go and have your sit-down lunch if you prefer, or sit-down breakfast. But this is a spacious place with lots of amazing windows to look out on the ocean or your port. And then there's lots of stations around with great food. We love coming here, and they serve a lot of international dishes. There's kids food, salads, and desserts. So definitely a great spot to check out depending on what you want for lunch. Those look really good. And my favorite part is that there's also outdoor seating as well, right at the back of this ship, which is an amazing spot to sit and enjoy your meal. Especially for breakfast, I gotta say, beautiful, beautiful spot. The Disney Treasure has free drinks. Come down and get a drink any time of day, 24 hours a day. The Treasure has an ice cream place. There's Marceline Market, a buffet that's open for breakfast and lunch. And on top of then the seated dinners, there's also all of these restaurants here. It's called Mickey and Friends Festival of Foods. There is ice cream, there's burgers, there's barbecue. It is such a cool spot to come eat. And you can come basically for lunch or snacks. The pizza's fantastic. The cantina, Donald's Cantina, is amazing. Amazing tacos, burritos, and bowls. There's Goofy's Grill for burgers and things. And of course the ice cream. I think this is a tradition of when you see how many ice creams you can eat on each trip. So very, very cool lunch option if you don't want to go into Marceline. And then lots of seating along the outside here where you can come and sit down and have a meal. So definitely a highlight for me as a quick food option if you want to stay by the pool, come down, have a snack, watch a movie. I will always recommend heading to the evening meal at rotational dining because it is one of the best meals that you'll have on the ship. But I will say that when these spots are open, it's a great opportunity for a lighter, smaller, and quicker bites. Around the pool spaces, you'll find lots of sun chairs, there's the kids' pools, and there are 2 bars. Plus, right behind here is the kids' water slide and the splash zone. The Aqua Mouse also runs around this whole part of the ship. I just didn't get any footage of it because I didn't actually have any way of attaching my camera to my head or anything while I rode the ride, but it is a lot of fun, and it's a unique water slide slash roller coaster, I guess you could say. As a great break from the heat outdoors, depending on how hot it is in the sun and everything else, Hero Zone is a great spot for kids and for families to come and play a few games together. So the big active space in the middle, they often have special activities. The kids clubs will also come here and have activities throughout the day. And then otherwise, you can come here as well, parents with their kids can come and play the table games. So there's air hockey and foosball and table tennis. So pretty cool space. And my daughter was even here a few times with the Edge Club. As you might expect, Disney has some amazing programs for kids, tweens, and teens. So the Oceaneer Club is the kids club, there's a teen club, and then for tweens you've got Edge. Once you register your tween, they can come and go throughout the day. They just use their magic band to tap in, and they can play games together, make crafts. There's all sorts of fun activities in this space that is just for them. It's a huge highlight for kids, and you're gonna have a hard time getting them out once they've gone in. If you're craving sweets, there are a few options on board, including the cafes that have a few treats. But one of the best is Jumbeaux Sweets. The new ice cream shop is themed from Zootopia and serves ice cream, sorbet, and gelato, and then they have huge number of toppings. And they also serve treats like cupcakes, cookies, and more, all themed from the film as well. Treats from Jumbeau's are an extra cost, but they are excellent and they are decently priced. I checked back into the Grand Hall again later in the day and found another event on. This time it was a Jungle Cruise themed event with a number of the big Disney influences taking part, including Tim Tracker and Molly and Alan from Mammoth Club. And if you're looking for things to do, this is another example of how the ship puts on special events all the time for guests. And you can find these throughout the ship all the time. There's trivia and games and so much more.
Have you ever heard the joke of what you call an alligator in a vest?
No, what do you call an alligator test?
An investigator! That was good.
That joke was for the bird stage, but luckily, toucan.
While that looked like fun, coffee is definitely more my speed. So I stopped by the Hei Hei Cafe for an espresso and checked out their amazing menu. All the cafes have great options, including cocktails, wine, and more. Not to mention that this one had Turkish, German, Irish, and other coffee options. And if you buy a number of coffees, you can get one free after you buy 5, just so you know. I have to say that the adult area is probably one of my favorite spots on the ship for a few reasons. So for starters, it's not that far from the rest of the activity. It's kind of central in a way, so you can still feel like you're part of the ship without being secluded away in some corner. But at the same time, it's definitely a little bit more relaxed than, down below where the kids are running around and everything else. And then on top of that, there's Quiet Cove, which is definitely my favorite spot on the ship. Like, check out the hot tub along here too. This area has a lot of seating, and then as you walk back, you'll find Quiet Cove with the infinity pool, Quiet Cove bar, and the cafe. So what I think is so cool is there's like a little splash zone still for your feet. This is one of my favorite areas on the ship. And they serve beer, cocktails, and wine back here. And it just feels like the perfect adult escape, especially if you have kids and they're off in the kids club. This is where you come to relax and unwind and enjoy some of the best parts of the ship. This infinity pool is really unique. It's worth checking the app or asking about what the drink of the day is because that's always on special. And then they have beer and everything else, so you can really get anything. But my favorite place is the cafe. This is such a great spot, and it's usually a lot quieter than the rest of the ship. So if you need a quiet break or coffee, this is where I'd go. So there's definitely tea, but then you can get cold brew and cold coffees. You can get hot coffees. They have all sorts of styles of coffee, and then of course cocktails. They also have whiskeys and spirits. So if you want to come back here and get a bourbon or something else, you can get that here too. As the sun was starting to set, it was time to get ready for dinner. So nice. It definitely was pirate night on board, but we had to get dressed up for dinner before we got into our pirate gear because we were looking forward to this restaurant. We're dining at 1923 tonight, so we had to spiff ourselves up just a little bit. So this is one of the restaurants I most look forward to here, to be honest. Coco is a huge highlight, but I really love the theme here. So we'll see how it lives up. 1923 has two sides. There's the Roy Disney and the Walt Disney side for the two brothers who founded the company. And the menu feels a bit more upscale, just like these spaces. We really enjoyed our meal, and we ordered a few things to try, from the Italian sliced meats plate and the amazing double-baked 3-cheese souffle, and then also the white onion soup, plus our mains. I was really impressed with all the menus that we tried and all of the food, but I will say I think 1923 had a very impressive diversity of dishes, and like the souffle was great, the soups were great, our mains were great. I was very impressed with the flavors and how great everything tasted. The lobster was perfectly cooked, and then of course we had to try the desserts, and my daughter had the Mickey cookie, and my wife had the lava cake, and I had to try the old-fashioned apple pie. 1923 was excellent. We really loved getting the chance to dress up for dinner, and it felt like the right space for it. It's funny because it reminds me a little bit of Animator's Palette from the Dream, except way nicer, and everything's presented so beautifully, and the menu is fantastic. Very, very cool experience. We're very big fans. All the restaurants have been a hit for us, but I love the style here. I love the callbacks to all the original Disney animation, all the original stories and everything else. It's wonderful. Great dining experience. And then it was time to sit down for the tale of Moana. We, of course, couldn't film the show, but it was wonderful. It is such a great take on the original film. It's wonderful. And then the next day I had a chance to go back to the stage and get up and speak to star Kekoa, who plays Moana, and we had a wonderful chat about this story. So cool. And what a theater. Look at this space. So I have to ask, is there a favorite moment? Because you've got so many iconic moments. Your first appearance and everything else. Is there one that stands out for you?
I have a lot. That is definitely one of them, when she comes down on the canoe. But probably my favorite is Where You Are, the scene and the song where our whole village comes together. Because we've created such a community here on the ship, and in this cast specifically, being able to see the people who I've grown to love and create a home with do the things that I grew up seeing, do right hand gestures, hula, to haka, to use the language that we use in the Pacific on here on stage is a dream come true. So that's my favorite part.
We saw Moana last night, and this production is so special. So not only is it the incredible music recreated from the film, but the way they've interpreted the film and the story works so well on stage. They have an amazing ensemble cast who do the most incredible dances and singing and everything else. And the main cast is phenomenal on top of that. And their props, their sets, everything is so perfect for this story. It's very, very impressive. We loved it a lot. My wife and I were very moved. I mean, it's something to pull off these songs and the emotions of this film in such a unique way. It's beautiful. So you have to come see it when you're on the Treasure. It's must see. We got changed and then we headed out to Pirate Night up on deck, where they had a bit of a dance party and the characters came out for a show that the kids will all love. And then they all rocked out.
Great cheers for our new crew! You guys are gonna be the best crew ever!
We don't want nothing from you. Your life is tragedy, boring and confiscated. If that's your best won't do.
A very big shout out to the cast who put on so many amazing shows, and they are fantastic performers. And then out came Jack Sparrow just in time for the fireworks.
Did you say something about the treasure?
Yo ho!
Yo ho!
Disney is one of the only cruise companies sailing in the Caribbean that's putting on a fireworks show, and I have to say it's pretty awesome. After the fireworks, my daughter headed back to Edge Club, and my wife and I went out for drinks because we hadn't been to the Periscope Pub yet. And I really have to say I loved this space. It's themed after 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and it is classic style pub with a good menu. There's artifacts from the film, or they look like they're from the film, around the room, and you can order food and snacks along with beer, cocktails, and wine. This is the place to come for a pint, to say the least. And they even have 3 exclusive brews for beer lovers, plus mead and bottled drinks as well. It's worth noting that for any food that you find in most of the bars, these are extra cost, so you will have to pay for any of the extra snacks you want here. Back in our room, we had a pirate friend waiting for us with a surprise, chocolates of course, and a Disney Treasure beach bag with an inaugural sailing tumbler and blanket. It was such an awesome gift. We all climbed into bed and called it a night. The next morning after breakfast, I had a tour of Disney's Oceaneer Club, and this is the kids club where the kids can basically come and spend the entire day. They can play and make crafts, and they will have a blast. It's safe to say that Disney has the best kids club of any cruise ship, and that is on all the cruise ships, but the Treasure has a really huge, amazing space. You can even make a roller coaster at the kids club here, but there's so much to do. Kids can come here, they'll just have to head out and grab a bite to eat at some point in the day. But otherwise, they can spend the day here making crafts, playing with friends, and there's a full schedule that they can take part in. And they can even meet characters too. Hello.
How are you today?
I'm very good. How are you?
Wonderful, thank you. So happy to be meeting you.
Is this your library?
It is, isn't it so charming?
It is beautiful.
It's my favorite place to sit and read, sit by the fire, have a warm cup of tea. It's just so magical.
Wonderful.
Yes, lovely portraits on the walls. Some are even enchanted. You may see them change.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Of course, have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you.
All of these spaces are so special, and they're made for pretty much every age, right up to the teens. So they can come here and hang out and have just the best time. I remember our daughter crying having to leave the kids club. Even the young Star Wars fans can find some fun things to do here and play among the stars, basically. They have so many cool things in this huge space. Around the corner, young Marvel fans will also love this space where they can play among their favorite heroes. So many cool things to do. Cannot believe how amazing these spaces are. I've been on the Disney Dream and they have a wonderful kids area, but this is humongous. It's so big. It's amazing for all these kids to have a chance to play, and the spaces are just incredible and activities everywhere. It's very, very cool. Like, I assume it's build your own character. Just fascinating everywhere. Love all the props and things. We had special previews of a lot of spaces throughout the ship, and one of the most interesting was the Tomorrow Tower Suite. This is located in the ship's front funnel, and it's a one-of-a-kind posh tribute to Epcot and Tomorrowland. It has a few bedrooms, 2 big bathrooms, and lots of hidden throwbacks to Disney. The chandelier is one of a kind, and I have to say this view out over the rest of the ship is really quite cool. But these bedrooms are just so wonderful. They have walk-in closets. It's a one-of-a-kind experience on the ship. As I was leaving, I ran into Chippendale, and then I had a peek at my favorite suite on the ship, the Rajah Royal Suite. While this suite isn't as big as the Tomorrow Tower, it is stunning. It has a serious perk that no other suite on the ship can boast. It has a private hot tub at the front of the ship. Seriously, wow. Wow. Well, yeah. Fantastic, and look at the view. Looking back on the whole ship, and you're basically right at the front. I'm glad I haven't stayed here yet, because this would ruin me. I'd never be able to stay on a cruise again without my own hot tub. Look at how beautiful this is. Just incredible. And right at the front of the ship, it's such a great view. Wow, look at that space. Okay, new favorite bathroom. And watch this. How cool is that? Walking around the ship, I have to say I was always in awe of the style that Disney has created here. And nowhere is that more on display than maybe my favorite bar, maybe Skipper Society. Paying tribute to the Jungle Cruise in both fun, silly, and even sophisticated ways, the bar is one of the most fun spaces. While I have to say that Haunted Mansion Parlor has the mood and the ambiance and the character, Skipper Society is relaxed and jovial and a bit adventurous. I also think they have the best themed cocktails on the ship, but that's a tough one. I think I need to try more cocktails to confirm that. I also love that you'll find lots of animals carved into the stage and hidden amongst the space. And there's lots of spaces just to sit and relax and take a breather. It is really wonderful how they've laid out this space. And in the corners, you'll also find these great 2 big booths with all the parrot lights above them, and then on top of that, they've got all these references to the Imagineers who designed the space and the ride and all sorts of other fun little tributes to Disney. And there are even a number of USB plugs and power plugs around the bar, so if you need a chance to charge up in between experiences or things that you're doing, this is a place you can come and do that, which is actually kind of cool. We had cocktails here at night, and it was just a great experience. And there was a band on playing. It was just really perfect. I can't wait to go back again. It's so much fun. We had the most wonderful trip on the Treasure, but it was getting close to the end, so we got ready for dinner at Plaza de Coco, and let me tell you, I wasn't prepared. Plaza de Coco is such an authentic experience, both towards the film and also this wonderful Mexican experience. The space feels like a celebration and invites you in to celebrate life. During a preview I had, I saw a peek at the full menu, which is really authentic Mexican food, and this wonderful space, and this dinner theater experience, which is also very, very cool. We sat down for dinner and I had a really hard time picking my meal, but one thing immediately stood out. Hey, they're starting strong, so not only is the menu eye-popping for me as a fan of Mexican food, but we're starting off with tortilla chips, which that's perfect. Like, no bread service, tortilla chips with salsa, fantastic. There are quite a few excellent drink options, including 3 great cocktails. There's mezcal and tequila, and also Mexican beer. And our food was so delicious. I had the chipotle black bean soup to start with. My wife had the beef birria empanada, but I could have eaten everything on the menu. It was so good, including the grilled seafood and tomato rice plate, and the carnitas, and the desserts were unbelievable. And throughout the meal, there was the most incredible performances. The whole dinner theater experience was so spectacular. It's a wonderful experience. It feels so authentic and fresh and original and passionate and beautiful. And I have to say that of all the performers on the ship, they're all incredible, but the performers at Plaza de Coco are exceptional. Such a great, great evening.
Something we're hunting about. What do you think, everyone? Shouldn't they play something for the happy couple?
We got your cover.
Always makes me think of our wedding day.
I know. I told you that Maria you were
To close out our night and the entire trip, there's a treasure found party where you say goodbye to the characters and discover the real treasure that was on board. It's really quite charming.
Adventurers and treasure seekers, your journey is approaching its end. You have come so far. You've unlocked so many incredible moments, but did you find your treasure? Let's think of the adventures we've all discovered. We sail with pirates! Trained alongside the world's greatest heroes!
Well, that's just about it. We have breakfast tomorrow morning, which we're looking forward to because it's one last time in Coco, but then that's it. And it's going to be hard to say goodbye because it's been so incredible. The treasure is just a beautiful ship. It is so cool. There is so much to do. We fell in love with everything we did. The food was great. The staff, the people here, the cast, everyone is so welcoming. It was a tremendous 3 days, and it actually felt longer. I would normally say that a 3-day cruise is too short, but this felt like a phenomenal trip, vacation, everything. And I love the restaurants. I really appreciate 1923. Coco, though, is so authentic. Love the whole decor and the things that they're doing in that restaurant. Yeah, and then everywhere I've been on the ship, there's surprises everywhere. We just had like the goodbye in the Grand Hall, and you know, things light up that you don't expect to light up. You gotta watch everywhere for little surprises. Not even just the least of which is stuff like this. Like, it's unbelievable to see the work that's been put into every little detail, like the craftsmanship. Remarkable. I really love this ship. I'm a very big fan of the Disney Dream. It feels kind of like our home ship, if I'm going to call it that. But the treasure is also very special, and I really can't wait to get back on board. I really want to do a week-long trip because that's how long the ship goes for. It's 7 days, which is an amazing amount of time to go on a trip and vacation. So yeah, highly recommended. If you have any questions, anything you want to know, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to answer. I certainly didn't see everything on the ship. I don't even think if you're here for a week, you may see everything. You'll probably see most of everything, but for 3 days, I saw a lot. So let me know in the comments. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much for watching. I also have to say a very big thank you to Disney Cruise Line for having me on this preview cruise. It was a great experience. As we got ready to say goodbye to the ship and depart the next day, we found this really wonderful parting gift from Disney that was in the room, and I decided that it was time to take a little walk through the ship and get a few last shots because it is such a beautiful ship. There's really not a lot to say here, but I did want to just show you some of the magic that Disney has put together on the walls and in all the spaces that pays tribute to years of great Disney films and Disney magic. Yes, I really have to say, I really enjoyed the treasure. It was a wonderful experience. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them in the comments.